For a mid-season update, this is massive for Call of Duty. Ranked is finally here, and even DMZ is getting a ton of updates. You can now loot perk packages off of enemies. You don't even have to go to loadouts, which they're also changing to individual squad loadouts, which should mean far less camping of the one that everybody's going to. Movement speeds are increasing, being able to pick up weapons faster, sliding faster, even mantling over higher objects. Time to kill slowing down, especially at the close range. I know a lot of people want AI completely removed from the game, but they're at least taking the armor off of them at strongholds, which is fantastic. There's a new giant infected mode, which we'll see if it's anything like the Warzone zombies we came up with. A new sandstorm has been added to Al Mazrah, which might mean you need more UAVs, which is good because UAVs can now be bought unlimitedly at any buy station. Although when you call one in, the ping is only going to come from the player who called it in. And the ping for tagging players can no longer be done through smokes and water, so you actually have to see the target. But that's just some of the big stuff because there is a whole lot more in the reloaded patch notes. I didn't even know there's an underbarrel drill charge. Could be a good challenge. Hybrid optics, which I recently used, now no longer even have glint when you're in the lower magnification mode. When you're landing in from parachuting and grabbing a gun, that's going to be 30% faster. Overall, this is still a very minor increase to the actual sliding speed, 6%, but they continue to trend in making all of this faster. The new weapons this time are secondaries, one of them being this machine pistol, as well as a fully automatic deagle. And of course, throwing stars you can now earn and equipped. It looks like fast hands is also a little better because when you do first pick up that gun, it'll be even further improved. Slowing down the time to kill, though, this is specifically for assault rifles, battle rifles, SMGs, light machine guns, which is most of the major damage dealers, of course. There's a maximum armor damage that you could do. So assuming you're plated, you'll take less damage from some of these weapons. But of course, we had a lot of different weapon tweaks. Handguns getting some slight buffs to armor damage on the minimum side. Some machine guns, in particular, the Bass P got a major buff with the armor tweaks to the Mini and MX-9. Vaznev also getting a little nerf to its max damage range. ISO Hemlock nerfed again. I was kind of surprised to see the 545 and the 762 nerfed again as well. Lockman 556 justifiably getting a nice buff. I don't think the M16 is realistically still going to be usable, but that's on the buff list, as well as the M13. And I love the TAC 56. It's one of my favorites. We'll see how much a maximum damage range decrease will be. I think it'd be pretty minor. Couple improvements to the battle rifles, the shotguns, even the HCR getting a minimum damage added. For the most part, I think those tweaks are going to be coming from the attachments, though, in particular the magazines. If you're using a large one, will have less of a penalty, so you can still aim down sight quick, move quick. And if you're using the smaller magazines, you'll get even more movement speed and benefits out of those. Of course, our snipers did not go unscathed, though. I knew they were going to nerf these. They love nerfing them, and the explosive round bullet velocity, which of course gives us those one taps, bullet velocity decreased. They did bring the laser back a little bit, though, making it not as visible. That was something they hugely tweaked in the last update. Cluster mines also do a little less damage to armor. For vehicles, they mentioned exiting vehicles is now less likely to cause collisions with geometry, so maybe less damage to your vehicle, as well as with the light helo. It said it was taking excessive damage when landing, and that was something you had to take it down so soft. We'll see if I'm guessing it's going to be pretty similar, but maybe a little easier for us pilots. Always mention audio improvements as well. I think at least the most notable thing, they did specify the auto ascender, the zip up. A lot of times you don't even hear that when somebody tries to sneak up on you, so hopefully that does register. I'm very much wait and see on all of whenever they say they fix that, though. Giant Infected has also been added. We'll see how this goes compared to the mode that we had made over in Al Mazrah. Now the zombies, when they come back, will actually even be able to parachute. Of course, there's going to be way more players as well as a bigger map. Specifically for Al Mazrah, that sandstorm will be coming into Al Maz City, and it does say there will be better visibility, specifically in ranked play for this as well. And up in Oasis, the northeast corner of the map, where there's just a bunch of hidden stashes, apparently they added a whole lot new loot. More details on the UAV pings, though, and the information they gave is because they're adding it to all of the buy stations at unlimited quantity, they wanted to increase the price of it, which I think makes a lot of sense. And where the UAV is radiating out of will only be the player that called it in, to give enemies at least a better understanding when you hear that audible, oh, enemy UAV called in, a general idea of where it is. If, you know, two teammates get it, but the other two don't, you don't have to worry about a team being split and getting tons of intel on you. And if the person who called the UAV and dies, that entire UAV will instantly end. Mortar strikes, which are already terrible, got less rockets of them coming in now, which I think is good. It's kind of more of an area denier to try and get somebody to stop pushing in that direction. This will make it at least last a little less longer or be a little safer to go through. Quite a few quality of life upgrades as well, including pings are now visible to spectators. Hopefully they fixed all the other spectating bugs in it, though. Probably not. And then when you're looting kill streaks off the ground, you can now see which one it is indicated on it. This is something they already added, and I have been loving. I gotta give them props. There's now an oxygen level meter, so when you're swimming underwater, you can tell how much time you have left before you die instantly. I read through an entire blog post on Ranked. I'm actually very excited for this and will be trying it out. There's two separate progressions here. Skill divisions. This is based on your performance. Getting kills and assists, especially towards the end game, will give you more skill rating. Getting wins, higher placement will give you more skill rating, and it costs skill rating to enter. This is how Apex works, for example. This will reset every season, but there's also a general rank that will continue to progress. This is based on your placements, will give you more stars that will level you up. Each season will also have its own rewards, so this is basically getting all the casuals to hop in and play and be cannon fodder for the people that are really trying to climb skill rating, as well as give you a chance to, you know, see where you can get to. The minimum being gold, where you'll get a weapon charm. The higher you climb, you know, the cooler it looks. They have some good quality of life things already in here, including squad backout or match canceling if you don't have your entire team there. If you do leave a game early, you'll get a suspension and penalties, dropping more skill rating, not being allowed to play. If you matchmake into it with randoms and somebody disconnects, you'll also get forgiveness, but this is different from queuing in with your friends, having somebody purposely disconnect to save your rating. And as you go up to a new division, you're going to have 3 safe games to protect you from just immediately going back down to the last one you were in. There's a whole lot more specifics with it, but it sounds very cool. I'm going to be trying it out, although I'm going to be starting with DMZ, which we will get to in a second. Some of the newer stuff for Battle Royale, deployable buy stations have finally actually returned. They will have green smoke. You can shoot down the drone that's delivering them now, though, and when it comes down, it will have an explosion radius, so maybe you can use that for a kill, but also don't stand under it when your teammate calls it in. They're also disabled in the gas, so don't try and make a last-minute gas play for it. The biggest change in this new COD update, though, is looting perk packages. That means you come back from the gulag, kill somebody who's already juiced up, you can take their entire perk package from them. You don't even have to go buy another loadout. Heck, even land back on your own. Early game, they don't even have one yet. You can buy one of the default perk packages without having to call in the loadout, risk yourself going to a buy station and a loadout, even loot a package, bring it over for your friends. But it is different from Warzone 1 in that you can only have one pack active at a time. You can't keep on stacking more perks on top of yourself. Gulag entry kit is finally here as well. Most wanted contracts that you go after, if you kill them, will now drop that package that comes down with extra loot. They want to reward people for going after the most wanteds a little more. I like that a lot. They also up the distance that the redeploy drones will take you, which I am extremely thankful for. That they gave you almost no distance. And those free packages that do come in Zone 2 and 5 are now going to be individual to a squad. This has been a huge issue where, because there's so few of them, especially when the game first came out, they were so easy to just camp and sit at, watch people to continually come back because you know the exact one they're going for, versus when there's 150 players, packages are all over the place. Somebody may or may not ever come to that package if you decide to camp at one for the duration of the game. The person might even leave the game. All that confusion is going to make it a lot harder to be camped, although it will still be done. I really like this change, as well as strongholds, of course, not even having armor. Plus, they have even less accuracy on their shots. They're only going to have 7.62, so maybe we won't get shotgunned to death by them anymore. When people come back from the gulag, they're only going to have 2 plates, at least in the standard mode, so maybe a little less opportunity for somebody to full dive on you and kill you when you've been in a great spot, have good gear, maybe miss a couple of shots and end up losing. You'll have at least a little bit more of an advantage on them for having your gear already. And of course, finally then, DMZ with the new Koshai complex. This is a new exclusion zone. We read about this in a previous blog post briefly as well, saying that we are going to need NVG, some night vision on this, which I think would be incredible to have for Battle Royale as well, but we might be going into some pitch black. This is what I'm going to be starting and exploring the update with. They also added specific guaranteed buy stations and workbenches, bonus XP rewards for extracting weapons cases, which a lot of us have already completed by now. A little bit more incentive to go after it, which I like. Be careful, you can no longer execute the bomb maker nor the pyro. The 2 biggest things, though, there is now an overlord voice call out. When you have a squad that has over 3 players that are near you, maybe less incentive to actually go for a 6, 4, 5 man. It will give you a verbal audio alert, similar to a comms vest, right? It warns you if players are near. And then solo players can now finally plea. So if you're a solo, you get killed out, you can plea to assimilate into another squad. This is going to be a huge improvement for anybody who wants to play solo, or if you're just trying to get some missions done. A lot of people will be willing to just pick you up after you kill them off. What do you think? What's your favorite? Like I said, this is a massive amount, especially for a mid-season, although we knew a lot of it was coming from the beginning of Season 3 and we were waiting for it. Double check your sub. I'm going to be covering it all. New video already up today with more streams live every single weekday, 10 a.m. Pacific over on Facebook. Thanks so much for watching. Stonemound64, over and out.